Hi everyone, I'm going to be showing you how to do this full cut crease look today on my gorgeous model Erykah. So it's quite a long video and it's really in depth of everything that I do for a makeover. So I start off with brows most of the time just so I can get a shape of the eye and it kind of frames the eye as well. I'm going in with Spiked Brow Pencil by MAC, and she already has like a really full brow anyway. I'm just kind of filling in any of the gaps. So I do usually start in the center of the eyebrow and start doing like filling in all the tail, and then I'll go in towards the nose with the pencil or the brow gel or whatever I'm using, and then fill in those parts a little bit lighter than the tail just to get the fade. So then I go straight in with my Select Cover Up and I really kind of carve out underneath the brow. So like with this you can use it to kind of shave off anything that you accidentally did with the brow pencil or the brow gel, and you're using this all over the lid as well, so it's like a base for all of the eyeshadows. So as you can see, I carve out everything first that's underneath the brow, and then afterwards I'm going to be taking it all over the lid, like so, all over the lid and just patting it down to set it. So just make sure that you pat it everything afterwards so that it gets quite tacky, because that's the only way that like your eyeshadow pigment is going to be really pigmented. So just I start off with Copper Tone. I think this is Copper Tone by MAC, and that's kind of my transition colour. And I just like, sometimes I kind of start at the very bottom of the eye, sometimes I start in the centre of the eye, just depending on the look that I'm going for. But because like everything is going to be cut out, because it is a cut crease, I want a lot of the colour to be like above the pupil if she was to look straight. So once I have the colour that I want with the transition colour, I just start blending it out and making sure that there's no harsh edges at all. So I'm using two different brushes. I'm using the Inglash 6SS brush, that's what I first went in with. And then the one to kind of buff it outwards, or buff it up, is the Nima brush called Donna. So now I'm applying the second shade that I'm using with the same brush, the Inglot 6SS brush, and I'm doing it a little bit under where I did my transition colour, because I want there to be a fade, so I don't want to put it on top of it. It's slightly below it, but then I'm going to use the other brush to just buff it up into the transition colour so you really get that fade. So now I am going in with a slightly darker colour again. So this is Inglot, I think it's number 300, on the same brush again, and the same technique, just a small bit under again, and then you're going to buff it up with the colour that you used previously. So now this is my darkest colour for this look on the top lid. So this is the Ben Nye Black Plum. So it's like a really nice dark brown eyeshadow. I'm only using a small bit, and again the exact same technique, just kind of applying it into the crease, and then I'm going to blend it upwards. So I just went back in with the select cover up in the same brush, and I just made a little marker just above her fold, the fold of her eye, so that when she's looking up or doing anything like that, it's not going to transfer. So I'm just making out a little stencil of where I want the cut crease to go, and then I just kind of fill it in. So I usually start from the inner corner and just make, like, I kind of pat it down, and then I'll flick it away so the product is getting on the lid as well. So once everything is carved out, you want to make sure that everything is completely set as well on the lid, so you're just going to pat down that extra bit of concealer. So I always set the lid as well, with or without glitter. I am going to be using glitter, but underneath the glitter I want to set it with a pigment. So all over the lid and all into the kind of winged part as well of the cut crease. This is just a loose pigment, but it sets the concealer as well so that the glue isn't going on kind of creasy and tacky concealer. So I'm using the Inglot 77 gel liner for my eyeliner, and I'm using a lip brush to apply it. So something that's really skinny is what I prefer, like the really thin liner brushes. And it's really handy as well because you have the tape, so you already have your wing mapped out. So there's not really much to the liner. So I am applying the glitter now, and this is the Lit Cosmetics glitter in Spark. It's size 3, so it's kind of a chunkier glitter. The reason I did the liner first and then the glitter is because if I did the glitter first, all my liner would be really bumpy. But I do go over the liner as well afterwards, just in case there was any fall down. I'm using the Ben Nye glitter glue as well to stick it on, and then I will apply the Ben Nye glitter glue again over the glitter to set it in place. So for underneath, I'm using all the exact same products that I used on top. So this is the Select Cover Up, and again, it's literally just a base for all of the eyeshadows. So I usually start with my lightest color, or sorry, my darkest color to the lightest color. So I'll go in with the black and the waterline, so that's the gel. I'll apply all black inside the waterline and I'll buff it out with the same colours that I used on top, except you're going darkest to lightest. So it would be the black. I'm going to use black eyeshadow, so it's the Urban Decay Blackout eyeshadow. The Ben Nye Dark Plum, the Inglot 300, like all those ones that I used, but you're going from the darkest colour to the lightest transition colour. So for all those really dark colours, just below your waterline, so like the black and the brown, I just pat them on. I don't like rub them, or I don't try and blur them side to side or anything. I'm just patting it on, so that there's no line between the waterline and the lash line, so that everything is really black underneath the eye. So once you take off the tape, everything is quite smooth, but it's not 100%. So if it's not 100%, like right now, I'm going in with the Inglot Jawline, so it's like a serum, and I'm just kind of cleaning it up with a synthetic concealer brush, and it makes everything really, really sharp. So I am going underneath the eye straight away with my concealer. So it's the NARS Raging Cream Concealer in Custard. And I will apply that, sharpen up my wing, and then I will blur everything with a fluffy brush. I'll just blur it up into the eyeshadow underneath, but obviously I don't want to cover it, so I'm not going too far with it. And with the foundation as well, I'm going carving out the top of the brow as well with the same brush, the MAC 252. Just because I already did the brows at the very very start, so it kind of saves a little bit of time as well. So I just carve out all the brow, and then I will go in and just apply the foundation all over the skin. I tend not to powder the face down, just to, like, I set everything with the brush, like the foundation brush. So to set it with the brush, I just patted everything down again, and it kind of like dries in, but it still leaves a really nice glow. And then I can go straight in then with my bronzer. I am using the highlighter on a Nema brush. I think it's called Erin, and I'm just buffing that into the skin on top of my contour, well, on the cheekbone. So for the lip liner, I'm using this push lip liner, and I always start in the very, very center, like where I'm starting there, and then I'll draw it up, and then to the other side. So you can overdraw, all you want. Just always bring it down to, or bring it up to the natural lip line, and then for the top lip, bring it down into the natural lip line. I just, because my lipstick that I'm using is a little bit lighter, I just want to blur the edges of that lip liner in towards the lip. That's why I'm kind of like adding it up as well. And then on the top lip, I'm overdrawing slightly, and then I'm going to fill it in ever so slightly as well with the lip liner. So as you can see, I just kind of applied the lipstick over my lip liner just to blur it in together, and then afterwards I just applied it with like a clear gloss just to finish off the look. So I applied a clear gloss over that just to finish off the look. So yeah, that's pretty much it. If anybody has any questions about anything that I have done, please feel free to comment, and thank you everyone for watching.